Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited for this to finally be here. I think we got Army truck number 2 just about finished, at least all the major stuff. By the end of this video, I'm hoping to have it all back together and maybe take a road trip. Things that we're planning for today are painting all the aluminum parts flat black, weathering the rear bed, making it kind of look old again. Finish putting the front winch back together. I'm excited about that. Maybe do a little bit of touch-up paint. Building some loading ramps so we can load stuff up on the truck. Loading up the truck. And then taking a road trip. And I am excited to finally get to this point with this truck. Hope you are too. Enjoy. Well, I've been talking about painting for quite a while now. Seems like this thing never gets finished. But I think I'm going to disassemble as many of these parts as I can and get some paint on them. Here's what my desk looks like when I strip all those things out of the truck, and I have all the little pieces that are left over just sitting here waiting to be put back onto the frame rails and stuff when I bring them back in. Here's all the parts. I didn't video the painting. It's 50 degrees outside and sunny, so I took this thing outside and spray painted it with this Rust-Oleum flat protective enamel. This is the second side. I've already flipped them over once, and then I'm bringing them inside the house to dry, and we'll see how it goes. I just got back all the parts that we painted, and let's put her back together. I just printed a new front winch guideline piece, and I take it apart, and it includes a little notch here in the front that once I get it together, hopefully that will catch the cab front mount bolt. And before I assemble everything, I'll just rethread the winch line back through it. Just thought I'd pause here a minute, admire the black that we painted. I like flat black because it seems to bring out the details of things and look a little more realistic than the glossy black. I was concerned that it wouldn't stick to these new aluminum bars, and I can see that whenever I scrape them, that does happen. And this is the new winch guide piece on the front that I was talking about. It now has this groove right here. And then the original cab used to bolt through these bolts right here, and now with the cab up a little bit higher, it still has that bolt in that same location, but hopefully it will come down and it'll catch on this notch, and then when the back of the cab hooks onto its magnetic part, this will just kind of keep it down, and also it might even keep it aligned sideways. So now when the cab comes down, hopefully it will catch that slot with those bolts like that. still waiting for some parts for the front winch assembly, but what I'm going to put together now is kind of a mock-up, kind of fake mock-up, mock-up on a fake winch. This spring is just kind of hold it in place. What I need is I needed a bolt here that's threaded all the way up so I can put the nuts in the right location. So this is just kind of mocking it up here. Fake winch, fake mock-up. Now we'll see if we can get this front winch framework bolted onto the truck here through all these other pieces that have to be lined up. Okay, first bolt's in. And second bolt's in. Now we'll see if the cab will fit. It's in the back. Clicks down over those things in the front. And it has a winch. And if you look really close, you'll see what should be the cab little catch there. As those bolts come down, they catch that little notch. I really like that it's not that glaring aluminum framework in the way anymore. I'm going to try something I haven't done for a couple years. Here, a couple years ago, I tried staining some little wooden blocks by mixing India ink with isopropyl alcohol. And what I had left over, I just put in this bottle. I have no idea the strength or anything. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this piece of wood that is the deck of the truck. In this case, I got holes in different places. So if this one messes it up, I'm going to make another one. But for this purpose, I'm just going to test it. So we're going to shake this up here, pour it into this tray here, and then we're going to put the thing into the water here. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. See what it looks like after 30. You know, it's got kind of a little gray tint to it, but it needs to keep going. I'm going to guess it's going to take a couple hours, but we'll see. Yeah, I think we're coming up on 2 hours. Oh, that's interesting. You can see the spot where the rock was sitting. Or actually, you can see the whole thing. Okay. Well, so far, it doesn't seem to be delaminating, which I was worried about. And it is getting kind of a... I don't know how much a difference it's going to make. I'm gonna go back in and let it kind of sit here another hour. I don't want it to get too soaked, but I suppose a couple hours, if it's going to do anything, it is going to do it. So, okay, here we are. Been 3 hours. I think all the ink that's been sitting in this alcohol for the last 2 years no longer has the ability to coat stuff. Let it dry, put some stripes on it, call it good for now. Here's the result of the weathering that we did when we dyed the piece of wood. Here's the factory new one, and here's the one that we just soaked in the alcohol and the ink. It's not quite as dark as I was wanting to, but that is definitely a weathered gray wood look. And I think that by the time we get it on the bed here, it's going to look like wood. Now next step is to draw some lines on here and make them look like boards. I'm going to revert back to inches here with my measuring instead of millimeters. So this piece of wood is about 3.5 inches wide, 3.57 actually. And if we're at a 20 scale, 3.5 inches is times 20 is 70 inches. So if we were to split this into 10 separate boards, that would be about a 7-inch wide board each, scale wise, 7-inch. Maybe we want a little bit more than that. So 3.57 times 20 is about 71.5. And see if that was 72. So 72 divided by 8 would be about 9 inches scale board. So a 9-inch would be more like a 2x10 deck or something. So I think I'm going to divide this into 8 pieces. Nice thing about dividing in 8 is I can just, instead of having to scale stuff, I can just kind of go half and half and half and get it. And I'm going to practice on the back side here in case I mess up. But I was thinking of using a black ballpoint pen as one test, and also the fine tip black permanent marker as a test to see what the two look like. First we'll try the felt marker. I'm not being as exact here with, since this is a practice. See there, I just hit my finger. Okay. Now we'll try the ballpoint pen. One thing I think about the ballpoint pen is it might leave a little indentation that looks like a gap in between some boards. And it's part of me that wants the ballpoint pen one to look the best. Okay, so these are the ones with the ballpoint pen on the right, and then with the felt markers on the left. And I'm thinking I like them both. And in some ways the felt marker is a little thinner and more faded, and it looks more weathered. Have to think about this. Looking at it on the truck bed, I'm thinking I'm going to go with the felt marker. Okay, here goes. If you're curious whether this thing warped, yes it did. It has kind of a bow up in this direction, but it also has kind of a bow down in the other direction. So I decided that I would put it on this way so that it's kind of fitting a little better. By the time I bolt it down, it'll be somewhat flat. But I think the next step is to bolt this thing together. Okay, there we are with the headache rack put back together. I'm really liking that black compared to the aluminum color we had. So now we need to get the deck put on here, put the screws in it. I'm thinking, now that we're putting the bed back on, we should probably figure out something to do with these tail lights. And I'm thinking that we can take a little angle iron piece and bolt it to the bottom of the bed there, and then screw the headlight or the tail light into here. Without modifying it, it would mean maybe making a second little hole right here for that little alignment pin. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Clean that up a little. Get that right through there like that. Maybe put a little washer on the end of that nut, and it should work well. You know, I think that might work. Looks like kind of an angle there. Oh, it's probably fell down into that little hole there. I think it's going to be okay. Let's just stick it. Oh, yeah, we can angle it this way a little bit to straighten it up. Let's try that on the truck. You know, that's good for now. Be nice if it was tucked under there just a little bit, but I'm going to go for that. Here's the update of what we just finished. We got the front bumper painted with the winch on there. I got the lights turned on just to prove that the wiring still works. We mounted the tail lights on the back of the bed, kind of where you can see them again. The bed is been weathered with alcohol and India ink. All the aluminum pieces have been painted flat black. Dump bed still works. After prying this controller off of here, I'm going to have to add some more sticky glue or something to it to get it to stay back on there good. So I asked the family if they had any contact cement, and all they had was an unopened can, a gallon can. So I'm hoping this will be enough. We'll give it a try. Everything still fits under the cab. We got the battery in its place. We got the winch here. We got the controller back mounted in there. Do some cleanup on the wiring, and I think we'll probably be done with this vehicle for a little while. I was thinking of putting some kind of paint over these black bolts here, if I can find something that matches this. But my friend Bob Ross uses these acrylic paints, and he usually mixes them up pretty good. So I'm going to try to take a combination of these colors and see if I can match the bed here. This is totally out of my field of expertise, but it's going to be fun. What would Bob Ross do? Probably not this. So we got some titanium white, some burnt umber, and some brown. And I'm thinking, mix it here with the end of the screwdriver. I'm trying to go, looks like we need some more white. Not a very good paintbrush. Probably didn't help that I just used it to put the contact cement on the other thing over there. You know, I think that's going to do. A little bit of paint on there. I still got the holes in the bed from the previous cross member positions, but I think for now that's doesn't have those big glaring black circles on there now. Okay, I'm an artist. Now if we can straighten this angle iron piece out a little bit. Making these little loading ramps that hook onto the bed to roll stuff up onto it. A little more bending. Yeah, that looks like about the right angle. Let's see how that fits or how that looks. Looks like that might just make a nice loading ramp. Not sure if that's too steep or not, but it's what we got. Might work a little better if they were longer, but when you got craft or popsicle sticks to work with, that's it. So I think if we were to winch the dolly up those ramps, they would probably work just fine. Another item I just picked up at a garage sale. We got a heat gun here. We'll see if it's good for shrink tubing. Actually, that worked too good. Didn't realize it, but I started melting the plastic connector on the end here. So hopefully it'll still be a good usable part. I'm not sure what you RC guys do with your wiring, but I've just kind of bundled all those things together and put a rubber band around them. Try to keep it out of the way here for the winch line so it's not catching on anything. Hopefully when you put the cab on, most of that wire is hidden and not hanging down where you can't see it. It kind of bugs me that you could look through the window and see all the wiring. It'd be nice when this is done if the wiring and all RC stuff kind of was invisible or something. But we're going to go give it a try. For this next load, we're going to load the beams onto the truck. And an old logging term called par buckling is where they run the cable out and around the log, or in this case the beam. So for this setup, we've got the winch line coming off the winch, coming up over the roller on the front A-frame, up over the top of the cab, down through the headache rack post, through a pulley or a snatch block, back over here over the top of the beam, and then back up onto the bed. And then with the beam on the truck, the driver has to crawl through that window to get into the cab. And my dad used to do that, and he said once you're inside with the beams on the sides, you're kind of stuck in there. Now we'll do the same for the other side. If we really wanted to load down the truck, we could put the dollies on the same load. Usually that's too much weight, but for this purpose, we'll just show you how that could be done too. Normally at this point we'd put some chains and binders over the whole load, but for today I've got a rubber band around the front, and then I went ahead and tightened the winch line up around the load in the back. And if that's not a big enough load, we can put the third dolly here in the back and we can tow it. Okay, ready for the trip. And we're done. Everything's unloaded. Thanks again for joining me on this this journey. Oh, I'm so happy with where this truck has gotten to this point. I'm almost getting tired of making videos of the same truck over and over. Maybe we'll move on to something. But yeah, we got all the black parts, or all the aluminum parts painted black. We did some weathering on the rear deck. Got the front winch put together. Did a little bit of touch-up paint. There's my friend Bob Ross. got the loading ramps, loaded up the truck, went on a road trip, and I don't know if you noticed in the almost at the end of this video when we unloaded stuff and we got the winch put back together. Did you see how those front rollers roll as that winch is rolling in? That to me was the highlight for this journey. Once again, appreciate you guys and gals. This is great. Thanks for watching.